Yo, so back with another chapter. I don't know why I said back every time now, but I do. But chapter 17, high level, low level, and very Zoro centered out chapter. I mean, he's fighting Cabji right now. But yes, Zoro kind of shows off a lot of his fighting style, and we get a bit of the regular stuff. You see, I don't know how to put it. Like Zoro likes to crap talk, but he's a super honorable guy when he duels people. He has a lot of esteem about how he views his swordsmanship, and he wants to prove he's better than people, and not just prove them wrong, but like say with Cabji doing dirty tricks and whatnot, he feels obligated to show that he's a cut above people like that. That he's really just looking for the best swordsman to prove his worth. So for the chapter cover though, we get Luffy and Nami and Zoro again, but Nami and Zoro just sitting kind of in the background of the picture on some stairs. Looks like they're like ice stairs in this Antarctic like area. There's a bunch of penguins holding swords around. They got, you know, bandanas on, some sunglasses. They got one wearing a bike horn, and he's wearing a vest, and he's got these like kind of tribal marks on him. This penguin's dope, and he's crossing hands with Luffy, and they're like jumping around, dancing, singing together, and Luffy's having the ball. But yeah, no, pretty cool one. I like the penguins. So for the first page of the chapter, it's just after Zoro cut his belly again. He opened up his wound even further, and you know, Zoro's got his three swords, and he's got one in his mouth and the two in his hands, and Nami's just like, oh, watching this is making me sick. Luffy's stoked. He's like just seeing how badass Zoro is all the time now, so he's just loving it. And Zoro starts off on one of his other monologues, you know, I can't lose, not even once, to anyone who calls himself a swordsman. Well, you do lose. There's a swordsman here and there. But most of the times it's Mihawk. So I give you that. Kind of turns into the I can't lose ever type thing, but he'll lose. But the swordsman thing is pretty consistent. Zoro beats pretty much every swordsman he's up against. But not Kuma, you know, he probably couldn't beat Dofi. I don't think he could beat Dofi. Maybe he's getting on par now with Dofi, but not when they were on that island. Luffy didn't even beat Dofi by himself. But regardless, so Cabji's kind of taunting him, trying not to lose his cool. He's like, you know, you injured yourself just as insurance. You're just trying to cover up, you know. So your wounds seem worse than they actually were. That'll be a great excuse. And Zoro's like, nah, man, you got it flipped. I wounded myself because, you know, if I were to, you know, just beat a guy like you with wounds so light, you know, I might as well give up on my dream. He's like, you're such small comparison to me in power and capability that I look like crap because I'm not more battered to have to fight you seriously. And Cabji's just kind of like, you scurvy dog. I told you, the friggin' pirate talk for some reason. It's specific with Cabji in particular. But yeah, he's Zoro's smack talk is better than his. I'll tell you that much. You know, his shit is just straight to the bone and about being better. And if as long as you're better, you're gonna back your words up, and it's gonna be that much more intense. But anyways, Nami just kind of taps Luffy on the shoulder while this is all going on. She's like, "Hey, you know that shack behind that tavern we just blew up?" She's like, "Yeah, all their treasures in there." So she's like, "I'm gonna, you know, go and get that." She's like, Buggy probably has the map of the Grand Line. She's like, but I'll get their treasure and I'll make my escape. And she's like, I've got to do it. She's like, well, they're all knocked out right now. Like, whether you guys make it out alive, you know, I really could care less. But if you do make it out alive and you manage to get Buggy's map, she's like, then I will consider teaming up with you, you know. So Luffy's got to meet even more expectations, even though she said she'd already team up with him. But before she'll navigate their ship to the Grand Line, which doesn't quite happen yet. Regardless, Luffy's got to get the map. That's the terms of their agreement at Orange Town right now. Luffy's like, you know, just like, oh, sweet, yeah, no, thanks. We owe you a lot. That's cool. Damn, it's like really easy. Like, oh, just beat up Buggy and take the map. Simple as that. Couldn't ask for less, you know. And so Nami runs off. She's like, good luck, see you, boys. And back to Cabji and Zoro. Cabji pulls out some tops. Get ready for a bunch of different moves, because Cabji seems to have a move for about everything he's doing while moving. So he's like, you know, have a taste of all my greatest circus tricks. And he throws something he calls the dance of 100 kamikaze tops, and they're all just a bunch of tops that come flying at Zoro. Apparently they're probably really sharp. But anyway, Zoro's getting ready to guard, and while he's doing that, already on to his next move, we have Cabji going up the side of a wall, and he calls on his unicycle, mind you, and he calls it a hike in the mountains. Lovely names. I feel like some of them are just like trying to be like haiku sounding almost. But Zoro's blocking all the tops, and then Cabji, after getting to the top of the building, starts doing a bunch of front flips on his unicycle, and he calls this one fireworks in the cool summer breeze. And so he starts swirling up. He's really high. He's probably, you know, like 50, 60 feet in the air now. And way up there, you know, he holds his sword downward like this, and he's planning on dropping on Zoro. He calls it Sting of the Unicycle, another cheesy ass name. And he's dropping down from way up there. But the thing about it is, like, really, like, Zoro can't like throw like sword, or what are they called, like blade waves or whatever, but like where he like projects his sword blade's like sharpness through the air. He like cuts through the air or whatever. You can't do that yet, but like Cabji has to come down in one spot, so it's actually, like, honestly to me pretty decent to defend. He kind of made himself vulnerable and gave Zoro a lot of time to defend. But while that's going on, the one thing that could change this is Buggy fires off one of his you know, chop fruit specials, and sends his hands flying at Zoro. One of his hands. And he's planning on holding down Cabji while holding down Zoro while he lets Cabji finish him. Cabji, you know, he even shouts at Cabji, he's like, I'll hold Zoro down. And Cabji's like, oh yeah, with pleasure. And he's stoked. And this is, yeah, I would say pretty dirty. Like, they've set up this duel, like it's a swordsman duel. And Buggy's instantly interfering. And so Luffy ain't gonna tolerate this. Like I said, he's a man who respects someone who's trying to have a one-on-one fight. He doesn't get involved. If, like, Luffy said, you know, I got this, he would expect Zoro to back off and let Luffy, even if Luffy was getting his ass kicked. So Luffy just stomps out Buggy's hand, just sends it to the ground, stomps on it, and Buggy's, you know, like, because he still feels pain even though he's separated. And Zoro's just like, oh, Luffy, thanks. So he saw Buggy's hand flying at him. And Luffy just says, you know, keep your mitts out of Zolo's duel. And like I said, he can't stand it. I love the smile and the image. It really adds an impact. Like, he just respects people's fights. Something that he's just, you know, always done. He doesn't get involved in other people's fights unless, you know, obviously they never set that standard, but he respects Zoro's wishes. But yeah, Buggy's pissed. He's like, you know, you little. And Zoro's just laughing. And Cabji's like, well, I don't need the captain to kill you anyways. And he's still coming down in the sky. Zoro dodges, you know, dives back. And Cabji's kind of a little annoyed, but still laughing because he feels like he has the upper hand in the situation. He just thinks he got lucky. Zoro's just, you know, getting up on his knees. He looks tired, and he's like, had enough. I'm tired. A little redundant. And Cabji's like, oh, well, you know, what are you, anemic? He's like, so I'm you know, I'm not surprised you finally gave up. It's amazing you can even stand at this rate. Zoro's already up on his feet, and he kicks out the unicycle. Cabji's kind of pissed and disgruntled. He's like, what's this about? Zoro just angry, just flexing veins on his cheek. He's like, you've got this wrong. Like, what I'm tired of is your stupid circus tricks. Which, yeah, Oda went all out. He really made that impactful in the fact that goddamn, this dude literally every movement is doing like way worse. Mr. Two, a bunch of different characters, but like literally doesn't have a devil fruit, and he's flipping all around and riding his unicycle everywhere with all these dumb trick names. Like he has the like summer steam sauna or whatever, which is just kicking up dust and shit like that. Just really weird. Dude really likes naming moves. Zoro does too, for example. Like he does, but like each sword move has a distinct sword move. I'll give him that. It's not just like some gimmick where it's like, I'll throw a bunch of tops at you and call it the kamikaze tops. But nonetheless, Zoro, says he's tired of his circus tricks. And Cabji's like, well, very well. He's like, no more tricks. I'll just finish you now. He's like, with my real swordsmanship. Zoro gets in classic Santoryu style. He's got his blade across his mouth. Two crossing blades. Oni. Next panel, we get full for one side. One whole page is just Zoro cutting through with his giri, blood spurting out a little bit on his wound. There's a lot of blood spurting out of Cabji, just across his chest, across his stomach. He's got 3 cuts in 3 different ways, just shooting blood everywhere. Buggy's shocked by this. He's like, Cabji. And Luffy, just smiling. He had his faith in Zoro. And, Cabji's like, how could these common thieves beat us? We're the Buggy Pirates. It's like the gang that's the scourge of the sea. And how could things have gone this far wrong? And Zoro just kind of pulls his bandana off, kind of leaning forward. It's like, we're not common thieves. Falls down, just passes out pretty much, and just says, we're pirates. Like, Luffy, I'm going to sleep now. He's like, I'm done. I'm tired. I need to sleep this off. And Luffy, grabs his bicep. He's like, oh, go ahead, go to sleep. He's like, I'll take care of it from here. And Buggy's kind of laughing, and he's just annoyed. He's like, you call yourselves pirates? And Luffy's like, oh, yeah. He's like, now, hand over that grand line map. And Buggy's like, what? You lily-livered no-name pirates? I really like that. I think Buggy, some of it fits. Like, he has aspirations and these ideals of what pirates are, and it's a very traditional sense of pirates. But the rest of his crew is kind of ridiculous. But I still dig it. But he calls them, lily-livered no-name pirates. He's like, you won't last a day on the Grand Line. He's like, what, do you plan on going sightseeing there? And Luffy, in classic Luffy fashion, no, I'm going to be king of the pirates. And Buggy just kind of just dumbfounded by the bold statement and how ridiculous is. One, there's just 2 of them there, and he's so certain. Luffy always says with such certainty that, like, oh yeah, I'm going to be king of the pirates, like, obviously. And Buggy's just like, don't be a fool. He's like, if you're king of the pirates, okay, then what am I? He's like, god of the pirates? He's like, the world treasure is all mine. And don't forget that. One thing I will say is, like, we'll find out later, but Buggy is a part of Gold D. Rogers' crew. He was a part of it at a point where he's a cabin boy. Now, he may have been God, why can't it? Raftel. Jesus. He may have been the Raftel. We're not sure. That's the thing, is we don't know the timelines. There's different members of the crew on the ship at different times. Some of them landed, some of them didn't. Like Inuarashi and Nekomamushi, way down the line you meet those characters. They rode with Roger, and they didn't go to Raftel. But Odin, someone that they both know, did go to Raftel. Shanks and Buggy may have. I don't think Shanks really has an interest in finding the Raftel. So he's probably already been there, probably defending it in some senses, what a lot of people think. I kind of like that idea. He's kind of just guarding it and preserving Roger's dream and the people he thinks. Not that Roger should have exclusive say, but protecting the integrity of the first release, because Roger wasn't the character to really bring the whole history and the truths of Raftel to light. And I feel like Luffy's crew is going to be the crew. Or, a conglomerate of the crews. I don't know. Anyways, regardless, he's waiting for the right group of people. And I like that idea. But yeah, Buggy was on that crew. And he would obviously, if he'd been to Raftel when if Shanks had been, he would know. And I don't think Buggy has any intention of going back to the New World. The only reason he's in it now is because he has a big enough crew. Really, he just wants to get rich. He doesn't care about the glory of going to Raftel. He doesn't want to risk his life that hard. He knows there's other pirates stronger than him. He just, wants to get rich. Even though he's got a really strong devil fruit, the way Oda allows it to move. Like, literally, he can, like, dodge things like Mihawk, who we'll meet later, who can cut, like, anything. He can literally dodge, like, his blades. Like, his skin separates before it gets cut, even. But after Buggy's rant about, who's going to be Pirate King, Luffy's just already moved on. He's like, hey, just hurry up and attack me. He's like, I'm getting bored. And Buggy's got knives in all of his fingers. He holds like 8 knives in different sections between his fingers. And he just stares Luffy down and he says, you're going to regret this, rubber boy. And he's like, you and your straw hat really pisses me off. He's like, it reminds me a lot of him. He's like, that insolent dog with the red hair. And Luffy's like, red hair? Kind of fixates on that. He knows about the hat and thinking of red hair. Well, obviously, as I said, Shanks and Buggy used to be on the pirate crew together on the Oro Jackson, which is Goldie Roger's ship. But yeah, that's where the chapter leaves off. We'll get the Buggy fights. I think 2 chapters? I think it's 2 chapters, probably. Next 2 chapters. And then we'll start moving on. I do like 20 videos of Syrup Village. That's going to be rough. But other than that, pretty stoked to be moving on. Once we get to Baratie, man, it's going to be smooth sailing. I can't wait. Can't wait. Yeah. I'm probably going to try and do a discussion video of a different means too tomorrow. I'm thinking I'm going to talk about 5 things I think are mysteries in the One Piece world. I think we'll be covering some interesting topics. It'll be more about like current releases, but anywhere from Thriller Bark forward, pretty much. Yeah, well, no, like the first chapter forward, but one's an easy guess. What is the One Piece? What is the One Piece? I don't know. Anyways, Snoob Review's out. Have a good night. Gonna edit this, upload it, and then we'll see you tomorrow.